What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about Andre Iguodala and how he was just traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Miami Heat. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Where are the Heat now in the East?
I think they're firmly entrenched at the number 2 spot. And I know that people think they're otherwise because of Toronto and Boston. I'm not of that mindset. I believe
Nah, I wouldn't quite put Miami at the 2 spot just yet.
that an acquisition like this, buffers them. It gives them experience inside that locker room along with Udonis Haslem in terms from a leadership perspective. You know that he can still go out there and give you minutes defensively. I don't think that can be ignored. And when I consider the young Lions that the Miami Heat have on their squad, I just love the acquisition of any kind of veteran leadership because I think that's all they're lacking. My aversion to this move would be if Iguodala plays enough minutes where he gets in the way of the development of guys like a Duncan Robinson, for example, or a Hero, for example, because I love the way those two brothers play. But
No, so Andre Iguodala, he knows his role. He's not selfish. Everybody knows their role. And I can't picture Pat Riley and everybody else, bringing in Andre Iguodala and having him hinder the development of anybody. So let's continue.
No mistake about it. He's an asset. He's not a liability. And I also think that you have to look at the rest of the Eastern Conference by default. Even though Toronto is playing good basketball, they don't have Kawhi Leonard. It is the regular season. There are many nights that the opposition takes off. And I think that come playoff time without a guy like Kawhi Leonard there, I don't think they'll be as formidable as they were last year. Milwaukee.
So I don't know if I would say that about Toronto because a lot of people didn't think they were where they're at now without Kawhi Leonard, and they're taking care of business. They're number 2 in the Eastern Conference. So let's continue.
He has something to prove because of how they collapsed in the conference finals last year. We know they're elite defensively. We know what the Greek Freak is, but there's still question marks about them. The Boston Celtics have been impressive this year. We know what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker can do and what they have done, but I think size is an issue with them as the game slows and playoff teams engage in physicality. And we all know the soap opera that the Sixers are. By the way, quick correction, we were on Countdown last night, and I made the error of saying that the Sixers did not leave. They stayed in South Beach. The team left. Ben Simmons stayed in South Beach, so that was my mistake. It wasn't the team. I misspoke. It was Ben Simmons who stayed in South Beach, not the team. Nevertheless.
Maybe that's why he doesn't have his own team, by the way.
Yeah.
Come on, Ben.
So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day,
What was that about?
that Indiana, all of these other teams, it's up for grabs. I think Miami, with their leadership from the top, with Pat Riley to Eric Spoelstra, on down to these players, I think they're firmly entrenched as the number 2 seed in the East.
That's even.
So I can't put the Miami Heat in the number 2 spot, but Andre Iguodala definitely complements that team. So with the lineup of Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder, and Mr. Bam, he's definitely going to complement that squad, and he's probably going to be coming off the bench for Mr. Robinson. So that's going to be good for them. So let's take a quick look at their overall record, or the record in league. So in league, it goes Milwaukee, Lakers, Toronto, Clippers, Boston, Denver, Miami, and Utah. So Miami's in the 7th spot right now overall. And in the Eastern Conference, they are number 4. So that goes Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Miami. So they're definitely taking care of business and doing what they need to do. And Andre Iguodala would definitely complement them. So I don't quite know if I'd put them at the number 2 spot yet, but they definitely have been improving. So let's continue.
Worse. That's even worse.
That you didn't stay as a unit down there. That's one thing, but as an individual?
Yes.
Simmons may not be ready to lead that team, but I don't think they're number 2 in the East necessarily. They're vying for that 2nd spot when you add Iguodala. And if they add Gallinari, I'll change my tune. If they add Gallinari, I'll say it's Bucks and then Sixers, because now you're adding offensive firepower in addition to a guy who can go out and guard elite perimeter defenders in high leverage moments. I don't think he interferes with development of young guys, Stephen A. I think he's the guy. It's the Raekwon line I always use from Incarcerated Scarfaces. Jay, you may be too young to remember.
I know Incarcerated Scarface.
Want to battle for cash and see who sons who? Right, like with the money on the line, Iguodala is that kind of player. With the cash on the line, you could say this guy's better than Iguodala. He's younger, he's fresher, he's whatever. With the money on the line, Iguodala's the guy you want out there.
Would you mind if I interjected by
Yeah, we know what you mean about that, Mr. Max Kellerman. We remember what you said about Andre Iguodala last year and how he's more of a clutch shooter than Steph Curry, which is just completely outrageous. So let's continue.
Reminding Jay Williams what you said last year about Iguodala?
You may, please.
Jay Williams last
Sure,
year.
tell me, please. Thank you.
Max Kellerman, my brother, Max Kellerman, came on national TV and said, with everything on the line, the planet Earth, was that the planet
Fate
Earth?
of the planet Earth on the line. Open shot to
the
hit.
fate of the planet Earth with an
I
open
think
shot.
I remember this.
With an open shot
More
to hit,
clutch than-
he would pick Andre Iguodala over Steph Curry. Go ahead.
Sometimes, Matt.
I just
Let me tell you
want to
something.
say that.
Wait,
I just
hold
want to
on.
remind that.
Hold on. Before we get to
Jesus Christ, somebody stop talking or something. But again, that's just outrageous that Max Kellerman would say something like that. I mean, Andre Iguodala, he's a baller. You know, he's a Finals MVP. Most people won't ever get to the Finals, let alone be able to be Finals MVP. But I wouldn't say he's more of a clutch shooter than Steph Curry. So let's continue.
Before we get too off track, I go always back to the late 90s Yankees, the greatest dynasty in the history of baseball. There was a player, Luis Sojo. If you ask hardcore Yankees fans, he's a utility infielder.
right.
Who'd you rather have
All
up
right,
in the
we're
clutch?
You just say you don't want to go on a tangent.
Hold on. Who'd you rather have up at the clutch?
Okay.
Him or A-Rod? A lot of
I just
them
want
think
to
so.
remind you
Hold
what
up,
you
hold
said.
up.
I just interrupt your
Hold
point.
up.
I just
All
want to remind you.
Jay, talk to me, because he's saying Bucks
Hold on.
Sixers.
Hold on.
we
Mom,
were
I
the
never
same.
got to the point.
Right.
Oh, I thought you said
No,
you
I interrupted him to make that
Oh, I
point.
thought that was his
wanted
point.
I
I
wanted
think we were waiting for
Okay.
him to get to the point.
So
Now I interrupted him.
No,
Go
you're
ahead. Let
right.
me make a
So
point.
the Sixers, the Heat may be second, but they have to contend with the following teams. You all agree Bucks are number one.
Yeah.
Not only the Celtics, who when they're healthy, I think have shown they're actually the second best team in the conference, but the Sixers. In spite of what you just said about Ben Simmons and the way we all reacted, they were many people's, including my preseason pick. Al Horford fell off. Talk about falling off a cliff. Boy, he's been terrible, but now he's saying they got locker room issues. Tobias Harris has been bad. They just got shooting help. And it's in there somewhere. You always have to keep your eye on a team where even if they're dysfunctional, the talent is there in Philadelphia. I'd say the Heat are probably still third if the Celtics are healthy. I'll change that to second if they get Gallinari.
Sixers are a wild card. You never know who's going to show
Yeah,
up.
I don't have the Sixers as the second best team in the East.
Yeah, because they're not. I definitely want to put Philadelphia up there, especially with Embiid. He's really been loafing it. So let's continue.
Al Horford yesterday saying that, Max. What locker room was Al Horford in last year?
Boston.
Okay. What happened in Boston last year? Did Al Horford speak up like that last year?
No.
No. That's concerning to me for this locker room.
Meaning he learned from last year.
I mean it's worse.
It's worse.
Yes. I mean, you're seeing friction between two incredible players vying for who's going to lead this team in a certain degree. And I think that was a shot at Ben Simmons. I also think that was an indirect shot at Brett Brown, because it's Brett Brown's job to provide a vehicle for these guys to exist on the court together.
I think you're right on the money.
So with that being said, I think the second slot does go to the Miami Heat. First off, I'm giving big props to their organization. Godfather Pat Riley, they came into the 2019-20 season with no money to move. Okay, pretty much no direction. I don't know if you guys had them in your top 5, top 6. I know I did it. For them to be in that
I had them top 6.
Top 6, okay. But for them to be in that position right now, to have Jimmy Butler, now to have Andre Iguodala, and be on the move to get Danilo Gallinari, I mean, that could put them. I have them right now as a contender. I don't have them as a favorite in the East. They get Gallinari.
No, before this video cuts off, I'm going to have to agree with Jason Williams on that one. I didn't think the Miami Heat would be where they're at right now, especially with Jimmy Butler. I know Jimmy Butler's a baller, but they really surprised me this year of what they're doing. And Andre Iguodala is only going to make them better. So let's continue.
They might be up there with Milwaukee.
You know what it
as a favorite.
says, though, that Riley made this move? Pat Riley's not playing games. When he sees a chance to add a championship, he's going to do it. And even though it sounded crazy in the beginning of the year, Jimmy Butler was such a perfect fit. The young guys came along so well. There's such good chemistry. You know, Bam, everybody is contributing. And he sees an opportunity here to push the chips to the middle of the table. Pat Riley thinks they're going to steal a championship.
Yeah, but is that really surprising? I mean, Pat Riley's one of the best head coaches of all time. I mean, Mr. Showtime Lakers. I mean, come on. So let's continue.
Hey, are you not worried about the 76ers after everything I just mentioned? You still have them as the second best team in the East?
No, I'm saying the Heat.
Well, That's the Heat or the 76ers, the second best team in the East?
The 76ers are at best the fourth best team in the East right now.
You just had them number 2 before, though.
No, the Celtics. The Celtics, when healthy, this have been excellent. When healthy, the Celtics, I think, have been the second best team in the
You
conference.
must have misspoke because you
Did I
said
say
the
the Sixers?
Sixers. You said
My
not the
fault.
Sixers.
Okay,
It's all right. Yeah, yeah.